están esperando el show. Paso el telón, en casa estoy. Wow, my father said when I was younger, hard times bring better men. Todo me quitaste, yo todo regalé. Can't take my freedom. Cambiaré yo el juego, pancarta de dolor. I feel my kingdom. Now you have to ride. You took my dreams, but not my life. You'll follow me until the end. I am my kingdom.
Hey, everyone, and welcome to Sunday night's main event, WrestleMania Sunday After Party. The story is over. Cody Rhodes, your new undisputed World Heavyweight WWE Champion. He has done it. We're going to be chatting all that and so much more on this episode of the After Party. We're your hosts. I'm Boris, and I am being joined by the Raw Dog himself, Eric B.
Hey, what's going on, man? For a second there, I was like, Boris, why did you kick me out of the party? I am here for the party, and it is a WrestleMania weekend. Folks, thank you so much for joining us. Boris, thank you so much for having me. Man, Cody Rhodes finally finished that story. And I know that might be a spoiler alert for some of y'all folks, but if it is, holy crap, what rock are you living under?
Exactly. All right. We have a jam-packed show for you. There might be some technical difficulties on the Facebook group in regards to us going live on Facebook. So we're for sure live on X and YouTube. So remember that after every major pay-per-view, we do go live on Facebook, X, and YouTube. You can find us and all of our podcasts, including Eric's Raw review each and every single Tuesday, my AEW Dynamite review, and so much more. And by that, all you need to do is go to your favorite podcasting app and go search for Sunday night's main event. And there's so many ways that you can help support the show. You can become a family member, and by doing that, you go to patreon.com/SNME Radio, and for $5 a month, you get to be part of the family. You get to take part in the trivia. You get to take part in these after shows. You get to take part in everything that we do. And at the end of the year, you get a little something back. Also, we got SNME merch. For all of the merch, go to chopped-tees.com. That's chopped-tees.com. And until April 9th, there is a huge sale. Everything is 20% off with volume discounts. All right, now that we got all the business out of the way, Eric, how are you doing? How's your evening? How did you spend WrestleMania weekend?
Oh, I'm good, man. I definitely spent WrestleMania weekend hanging out, watching some wrestling content, enjoying some wrestling content. Mostly what you've heard us talk about for the last few weeks about what we were looking forward to the most. I think that ultimately this WrestleMania kind of delivered on everything we expected it to. Um, we were talking before we came live too, and I don't think there was really any major surprises, right? Like nothing really jumped off of the page. It was kind of as we expected the story to play out here. So I'm feeling all right, man. I'm a few tequilas deep at this point, and I am staying
Oh, you're a
tranquilo.
few tequilas deep, are you? I have something. This might be an inside joke, but I don't care. I'm doing it. So, look what I found earlier today.
What?
I forgot I had this.
Oh, okay. A nice Boris, for the people who are listening, Boris is holding up a nice bottle of 1800 Coconut Edition, which we enjoyed on a nice, what was it? A outing for Easter, an Easter outing. We were celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ with a nice bottle of tequila.
The death
De
of
Coco.
Jesus Christ, for the record. So cheers to WrestleMania weekend. What a weekend it has been. I'm honestly
Cheers,
celebrating
man.
because this is the last show. This is the 8th show in a week that I've done. And after this, I am sleeping all day tomorrow. So cheers, Eric. Cheers to all of the listeners. And if you're watching live, cheers to everyone. That
Cheers,
tastes
everybody.
like
Yeah, I hope
last
you guys
Thursday.
really enjoyed WrestleMania. I think that, like I said, it's what we expected it to be, but that's not a bad thing, especially with the leading, especially with the long-term storytelling. I think that we got a lot of things that we expected, and I think that, going forward, like on Monday Night Raw, we have a lot of things to look forward to, and maybe even a few surprises that we did not get this weekend.
Yep. So there's a couple stuff that we're going to talk about. We're going to touch on some of that stuff, I think, later on in the show. We're going to talk about what we think is going to happen next. Let's go through the show. Today's show it was only 6 matches, but man, the time between matches just seemed to be getting longer and longer and longer and longer. It is crazy. David Brightly, thank you so much. I am a handsome fella. Just remember, you can join in on the chat, and we'll try to get to you as soon as we see it. All right, so Eric, let us just jump straight into the show, because that's what we're all here to talk about. Let's talk about the kickoff show just briefly. Again, yesterday's show, kickoff show, pretty good. Today's, pretty good. If this is the format that they're going to be using for the kickoff shows, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what you're all for. That is all that you're all for.
That's what I'm all for. I'm good with it. I like it. They had it honestly felt like a good sports pre-show, and I know that's what it's supposed to feel like. But by God, there have been years where that kickoff show, it just feels like it's dragging and dragging and dragging. They had some cool stories, they featured Philadelphia quite a bit. They had nice moments. Yep. They did their PR charity stuff, and that is all good. Nothing really to report from the kickoff show. So let's just jump. Actually, one thing that they did do pretty good in the kickoff show is kind of telling the story of, look, Cody is beat up. We don't know what's going to happen with Seth and Drew. Cody is beat up and kind of still working in from yesterday's story into today, which I really did enjoy. They did a great job of moving that story forward.
Yeah. I mean, to quote Brad the Dad, Cody had to come from adversity to win. He had to really have a reason to finish that story. And I honestly think that the way that we booked it on the prediction show or the preview show was probably a little bit better than it turned out. But ultimately, we got the same thing there. And to your point, yeah, there's not much to talk about with the pre-show. But ultimately, the one thing that you've mentioned that we have to look at as a huge difference is the production value of WWE, these pre-match packages. You mentioned it too. There's more space in between matches, but they're being spent telling a story leading into matches, especially in the matches that don't have as much as a build as we have with the whole Bloodline versus Cody story.
Yep. All right, so let us jump right into the show. The show kicks off with Samantha Irvin introducing the War and Treaty, who performs God Bless America on stage. That was a fun performance. That was actually really well done. I really enjoyed that performance overall.
Yeah, it wasn't the performance we expected tonight or last night. I mean, Little Wayne was there last night. We did not get a Little Wayne performance. We did not get Stunning Like My Daddy. Juvenile did not show up, folks. I was heartbroken.
All right. Stephanie McMahon makes her introduction. She comes out and she has a lot of reaction there. Cole said Stephanie is one of the reasons that he's had the opportunity to sit behind the broadcast desk for 27 years. Stephanie said that she sat at the entranceway for the first WrestleMania and has had the honor of being part of every WrestleMania since. She said this might be the one she is most proud of because it is the first WrestleMania of the Paul Levesque era. Stephanie did the Are You Ready routine and said it was time to kick off night 2 of WrestleMania. How do you feel about seeing Stephanie on screen?
I'm extremely confused, to be entirely honest with you. And I think that a lot of people felt the exact same way. And I'm not going to get into any of the stuff in the background or anything like that. But I mean, Stephanie McMahon definitely stepped off of the screen for a reason. And to see her here in the grandest stage of it all, it was a little bit of a surprise to me, you know. So I was surprised, so somewhat confused in a sense.
Look, at the end of the day, we don't know what role anyone had in anything, right?
Boris,
not condemning anyone, but it did ultimately
Boris,
lead to, like,
let's just be honest, all right? It's what's Steph for business, and this is what was Steph for business tonight.
Exactly. All right, let's just jump into the first match of the night, which was for the World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre with CM Punk on commentary. Dude, so right as soon as the match started, Drew hits a Claymore kick and he covers him for such a close fall. I was freaking out because yesterday on the after party, I said, this is going to be a squash.
Yeah, you might have nailed it just there. And I think we all nailed it to a T leading into this match, right? Seth was going to be banged up from the night before. He's going to come into this match against Drew, who's been a buzzsaw recently in all of his matches on Monday Night Raw. And he was going to pick up this win. But again, man, I've seen some really strong comparisons online, and I have to actually I have to play devil's advocate on myself too, because we've talked so negatively about Damian Priest and that briefcase, what he's done with it, what he hasn't done with it, how bad it's been, how he hasn't cashed in yet. And then when you compare him to like what people call the greatest cash in of all time, Seth Rollins, he had that briefcase for I think another like 25 days in comparison to Damian Priest before he ultimately cashed it in at the greatest cash in of all time, the heist of the century, Boris. So
The heist of the century.
yeah. Yeah, it was pretty wild to see all of this play out the way that we kind of predicted it to. And yeah, the Judgment Day is not as weak as I expected them to be at the end of WrestleMania.
Yeah, they might actually stay together after all this and after everything is said and done. CM Punk on commentary, did he add anything to you? Did he take away from the match? What did you think of CM Punk on commentary?
I would have much rather had him in the ring as a guest referee. I think that's where he belonged to be a little bit more. I think that would have been more of a WrestleMania feel. Him just sitting there in a suit on commentary, okay, it definitely added something to the match. Ultimately, his role in the match, which was the best, is him sitting in the pipe bomb pose, staring at Drew after he lost the title, which we all knew was going to happen. We all knew Drew was going to get his moment at WrestleMania, but it was going to last for a very short time.
5 minutes. It lasted 5 minutes. All right. So McIntyre turns to Punk. He mocks him and he signals the GTS right before McIntyre can go for that. Seth Rollins rolls him up for a quick pin. Another Claymore kick for another very close call. McIntyre rolls to the ringside. He clears a broadcast table. Punk said doubt was creeping into the mind of McIntyre because he couldn't get it done in the ring. McIntyre got Rollins to ringside and set up for a powerbomb, but Rollins fought out of it and ended up on top top of the broadcast table. Rollins super kicked McIntyre from the table. He clears the Spanish announce table, runs over it, and stomps McIntyre on the English table. That's when CM Punk reminded him, you have to finish the match in the ring. Rollins sent McIntyre back inside the ring and was drilled with another Claymore kick. Covers him for another close fall. And McIntyre at this point is just pissed. He's waiting for Rollins to get up. One more Claymore kick. 1, 2, 3. New World Heavyweight Champion. In 10 minutes, 30 seconds, Drew McIntyre finally wins a championship in front of fans. As we've already alluded to before, he then goes to ringside. He has a moment with his wife. Then he turns his attention to CM Punk. There's some back and forth. And then that's when Punk stands up, removes the brace from his arm, hits McIntyre with it after he trips him. Punk kicked McIntyre a couple of times, blew a kiss to his wife, and that is when Damian Priest comes out, cashes in the briefcase. He hits McIntyre with a South of Heaven really quickly, and then pins him to win in 9 seconds. So leaving WrestleMania as your World Heavyweight Champion, Damian Priest.
Yeah, no surprise there. Honestly, no surprise there how that turned out. If he was going to cash in, it was going to be tonight. It was definitely going to be in this moment, and it was a hot open for WrestleMania. And when you look at night one, opening up with Rhea and Becky, Judgment Day win, and then you open up, tonight with another Judgment Day massive win. The whole thought of the Judgment Day breaking down, it's probably not going to happen for a little while longer.
Yep, agreed. All right, then we go into the second match. But before that, we had a couple surprises. Snoop Dogg was announced as guest commentator. Part of the night, honestly. He was making me laugh so much throughout this next match.
Snoop Dogg is coming. Snoop Dogg is coming to Toronto this summer. And Boris, if we're not going together, then I'm going to be very disappointed, man.
I know we have to actually. Tickets went on sale already. All right. Yeah. Bubba Ray Dudley was introduced as the guest referee. He comes out in ref gear and all plays to the crowd. The Final Testament comes out. Can you believe what Graves said, that this was Ellering's first WrestleMania?
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Crazy, huh?
No, honestly, right. I mean, everybody wants to jump on Michael Cole all the time, right? But I don't think he would ever be caught dead saying something like that.
All right. The next match, the Pride, Bobby Lashley, Montez Ford, and Angelo Dawkins versus the Final Testament, Karrion Kross, Akam, and Razor in his Philadelphia street fight. What you think?
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what exactly. It was exactly what we thought it was going to be. Literally, nothing crazy.
Honestly, we were talking about this before, right? Like, we didn't get the musical performances that we were expecting. Like, you have Snoop Dogg there, but he's just talking. You have Lil Wayne there the night before, but he's just with Jey Uso. So we didn't get those musical performances that are going to get us maybe a little bit of a bathroom break. They had to sneak in a match like this for a bathroom break. And that's not anything negative about anybody in the ring. It's just they at least made it to WrestleMania, man. Listen, to think that Karrion Kross would be back in, wrestling and back in WrestleMania within 12 months is pretty crazy, dude. Like, that guy completely fell off and had been booked terribly by WWE. So to be brought back and actually be in a spot where you're on the grandest show of it all, sure, it's, a 2-night spectacle now. And Donnie DeSilva made a great point, because you asked for feedback about the show, and I said, look, if we could just get one night, it would be incredible. But I get it. At this point, business-wise, there is absolutely no way that we're going back to one night. 2 nights, ad revenue, everything. It's just incredible.
Yeah. I'm not feeling this Bible people faction. Cross deserves better.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that. Honestly, I think that if you go back to NXT, Karrion Kross, and if you even go back to his roots before that, if you go back to Killer Kross, that's the best character that he ever had. So I don't think that he needs to be that type of leader, especially like de facto, potentially, cultish leader, and anything biblical. So yeah, you're absolutely right with that comment.
All right, Cross bickers with Bubba about a slow count. Bubba pulls out his glasses, puts them on. Lashley spears Cross. Ford and Lashley held Cross's legs open. Bubba joined the group in doing the what's up. Dawkins does the headbutt from the ropes to Cross's groin. Bubba helped lead the get the tables call. Ford and Dawkins grab tables, set up inside the ring. We get the ECW chant, of course. They tried to put Cross on the table, but it actually collapsed. Ford and Dawkins grabbed another table, played to the crowd. Ford grabbed a kendo stick, beat Cross with it. Snoop Dogg yelled, "Whoop that trick," as this was all going on. They put Cross on the table, and then Ford hit him with the frog splash. Lashley covers Cross, pins him. 1, 2, 3. The Pride wins in 8 minutes, 35 seconds, and that was that. After the match, Snoop joins the Pride, and Bubba inside the ring, and that was that.
Snoop is just entirely adaptable in WWE and WrestleMania spots, man. Honestly, like no matter what happens, remember last year when it was completely just out of nowhere, he did what he had to do to make that work. But yeah, like we said, this match was what we expected it to be, and it was a serviceable match for WrestleMania.
Yep. Cross is a whole lot of nothing right now. Still don't know what he's supposed to be. And that's the thing, right? And Eric, you said it best. Killer Cross, like when he was with Austin Aries, the silent assassin, the silent help, he was the best. That was by far his best incarnation.
Yeah, man. Like we don't need all of that extra stuff. To that point too, of we don't know what he was going to be. Even when he came up to the main roster, eventually we were like, what's going on with this guy? His lights just turned black and white. Maybe there's some red in there involved as well, but what else does he do? So yeah, unfortunately, Killer Cross is a great guy, great talent, but WWE still doesn't know what to do with him.
All right. Paul Heyman was interviewed by Kayla Braxton. She congratulates him on the Hall of Fame induction. Braxton then asked Heyman to explain Bloodline rules. He started to talk about the rule book, then said, "Come on." He said, "It's whatever they come up with, and there will be no disqualifications or countouts." Heyman spoke of one man winning and the other man going home to his wife, Brandy.
It's legitimately a no disqualification match, and there's nothing else involved. Unfortunately, guys, we had no lay on a pole. We had no bamboo ladders. We had no, we had nothing going on that really made this bloodline rules, in my opinion, right? It was just no disqualification.
Yeah, gotta throw the gimmick in it sometimes. I'm okay with that. LA Knight versus AJ Styles. AJ Styles gets some new music. Eric, thoughts on this match?
Oh, he should get some new music at this point. The guy's entirely reinvented himself and looks like a completely different version of himself. He looks like AJ Styles ate AJ Styles. I thought it was a good match for WrestleMania, and I thought that LA Knight got his moment, man. So I think that a lot of people have been saying, LA Knight got shafted. He didn't get the briefcase. Damian Priest did, so he didn't get that moment. Maybe he should have been the next guy. Maybe he's the age to be the same. Sorry, the next guy. But Damian Priest is in the same age category. So, WWE was cooking him for a little bit longer. LA Knight got his match here at WrestleMania, and I thought he showed out really well.
Yeah, and Styles is, more than likely starting to come down. It's, end a chapter of his career and his career in general, right? So why not give LA Knight the nod, even though he's 5 years younger than him. Styles goes for a springboard 450. Knight puts his knees up. They trade punches. Knight got the better of it until Styles ducked the punch, hits him with a Pele kick. Styles went for a springboard move that Knight avoided. Styles then avoids the BFT, and Knight avoids a Styles clash. Styles sets up for another springboard move, and it was cut off by Knight, who followed up with the BFT to score the win in 12 minutes 25 seconds.
Both guys got a spot on the card. LA Knight got a win. It progresses him as still being potentially a star in the company, especially based on how things have changed now and how the landscape of the championship scene will change. LA Knight definitely needed this win, and AJ Styles looking like $1 million. He completely put over the right guy here.
Yep, exactly. man, we're just blowing by this, but that's exactly how this night felt, right? Like it just felt like it was just going very fast all night. 7 matches, I guess, in total.
I mean, we can stop.
All right.
We can talk about other stuff if you want to talk about. Like, what else do you want to talk about besides wrestling? You want to talk about like Taylor Swift songs?
No, we can do a hard 40 on that. We can talk about our next outing. We can talk about Tiffy time. We can talk about anything you want, my friend.
45 minutes of Taylor Swift cover songs, folks. That's what we're going to talk about next. So you have come to the right channel. All right, let's get back to wrestling, please.
All right. After that, we get the Hall of Fame ceremony recaps. Matt introduces everyone.
I hate to interrupt you. But I just got entirely excited for the wrong reason here. There was no Kelsey sightings at all during the WrestleMania, was there? No Jason Kelsey.
Oh, well.
Okay, because there was rumors. Listen, this is probably every WrestleMania. We're always going to get those crazy rumors, right? So this WrestleMania, what are like the top 3 rumors you heard? In my case,
MJF. Well, remember, Kelsey. Jason did show up yesterday. He did show up yesterday.
Okay, whatever. All right. No MJF.
No MJF. Yeah, so that was like one of the crazy rumors. No MJF. All right, so we get the Hall of Fame recap. We get everyone comes out, kind of stands awkwardly on the stage, and they give a nice wave to everyone. Then we get a U.S. Championship match package. Then we get Logan Paul coming out in a prime
decked
truck.
Out in full Eagles gear in a prime truck with a prime cannon that shot, I think, prime bottles that turned into fireworks. I don't know, but it was pretty cool what he had.
I honestly thought I thought he was going to squirt people with prime.
I thought he was shooting prime bottles into the crowd 100%, but I can only imagine the insurance issues with that. But yeah, apparently if you were at WrestleMania, they had a WrestleMania themed prime.
There you go. All right, Kevin Owens was shown walking through the backstage area, and that is when we get a repeat of last night. Well, a change of last night. This time it's Sami Zayn waiting in front of the gorilla position, holding his IC title, and he says, "It's your turn now. Go get him. Go get him." Owens comes out. Owens takes a golf cart. He drives it down the ramp. What?
It was just terrible, honestly. I hated that. Like, the crowd loved it so much. They loved the pump up, and I was just not there for it. Like, as soon as Sammy was like, "It's your turn now. Go get him. Go get him, Kev."
What issue do you have with boys pumping each other up? You know, the next time I see you, I'm gonna go, Eric. You got this. Go, Eric.
Go get that roast beef sandwich.
All right, KO drives the golf cart down. Randy Orton comes out. Owens backs up the ramp, invites Orton to join him, and they drive down to the ring together. I got to say that this match, the beginning of this match, which is the U.S. Championship, Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens, this match reminded me a lot of the David Finlay match from Wrestle Kingdom, where it's, you know, you get the heel and 2 faces, and the 2 faces work up until they don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only way that you can really go here. And I think Logan Paul, again, just looks like $1 million anywhere that he goes. The guy is there for a reason. There's been a long time that people are like, yeah, he's probably the best celebrity wrestler of all time. It's like, no, I don't know if he's even the best celebrity wrestler of all time. I think that he's actually very well at the upper mid card of the entire landscape of pro wrestling, very short into his career. He's got the look, he can talk, and he can move. And he definitely was the flyer in this match over those 2 guys. And again, we're talking about Randy Orton getting onto WrestleMania's card and Kevin Owens having that moment as well. You'll explain how the match went. But yeah, everybody looked really good in this match.
Yep. So, like we talked about, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens eventually start fighting each other. A little closer to the end of the match, Orton sets up for a punt kick, but the Bottle mascot pulls Paul to ringside. The Bottle Man reveals himself to be YouTube personality I Show Speed. Orton ended up hitting the mascot with an RKO on the broadcast table. Paul shoved Orton into the ring post and then back inside the ring. Paul goes for a top rope move that Orton avoids. Owen hits Paul with a pop powerbomb and then dropped Orton with a stunner, covered him for a near fall. Orton then goes for a pop-up powerbomb, Owens goes for a pop-up powerbomb on Orton, who counters into an RKO. Paul threw Orton out the ring, hit Owens with a top rope frog splash for the win to retain his U.S. Championship in 17 minutes, 40 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, he looks great, and he definitely carrying that championship is definitely great for the company, for Logan Paul to have it. Just the social media following that he has alone is more than worth him carrying it as the U.S. champion, especially. But like, listen, everybody looked really good in this match. I definitely expected Logan Paul to lose. I really did. And for him to retain, that was a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, it was. No, I'm not. I wasn't shocked. I called it, right? He's going to hold that belt on Netflix with his brother before his brother gets murdered by Mike Tyson. That's it.
Before he gets murdered. Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see what happens with that. Like, honestly, if Mike Tyson loses that match, like, decisively, then we have a serious problem. Then we have to look at potentially what's going on there with sports betting, and that's what it is.
Just see if Otani is betting on that fight. Then we'll figure it out. All right.
Paul of Logan
gets
another one of his YouTube friends nobody has heard of on TV again. You're absolutely right, man. Honestly, as soon as I looked at social media and they were like, Speed took an RKO, I was like, who the hell is Speed? I have no idea. I'm 39 years old. I'm just not about that.
Like, life. I don't. Look, here's the thing, and that's why, like, all of these who's this person, who's that, blah blah blah, those type of comments. It's like, okay, look, we're old men. We don't know who these people are, but there's a generation of people watching these shows that would know who these YouTube stars are. I could be wrong. I don't know, because I don't know.
There's honestly, stars. Let's look at it like this, right? There's a certain category where I get it. You're not going to know every musician and stuff like that, but yeah, if we're talking about like YouTube stars and things like that, or just like friends of Logan Paul, then yeah, maybe they don't have as big of a following as, say, for example, a Jelly Roll or something like that. Like, there's a reason why WWE wants to have somebody like that on television. And same thing goes for Speed. Oh man, don't get me started on Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny is incredible. I wish Bad Bunny would wrestle a lot more often because that guy is so entertaining.
He was at my buddy's bar over this weekend here in Toronto. Bar Prequel. Yeah.
And you didn't call me to go meet up with Bad Bunny
until way after. I wasn't there. I was working. I was doing this. All right. Jesus, tranquilo. Holy crap, Eric.
Keep going. No, all man, right. It's just funny. No big deal.
A video package sets up the Women's World Championship. Man, are we gonna have a domestic click here? Are we gonna have to hash things out here live on the show?
You owe me tacos. You absolutely owe me tacos after this.
All right, we got a video package setting up the Women's World Champ. The shoulders of four masked men. To the ring, played to the crowd as she walked down the ramp. Women's World Champion Io Sky was accompanied onto the stage by Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Dakota Kai. Sky went to the ring by herself, and the next match was Io Sky versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. This crowd loved them some Bayley.
They did. Bayley's honestly, Bayley's opening and her entrance was incredible. She looked like $1 million. She looked like a champion coming out to the ring. And then what can be said about Io Sky's entrance at WrestleMania, man? Like, honestly, Io Sky's entrance, if you've ever been in a crowd when her entrance hits and that music hits, that that vibe hits, the pulsing lights hit, the strobing hits. It's wild to be there just for a regular crowd. So to see that on that grand scale, man, I was mesmerized when Io Sky was coming out. I honestly was.
Makes
And I knew that was going to be probably the last time we saw her with a title in her hand. But it is absolutely intoxicating to watch her entrance.
Yeah, makes me want to go to Vertigo, that's for sure. All right. Io Sky tries to work over Bayley's injured knee throughout the match. That was essentially the story. She's trying to get the knee, and Bayley is just trying to hold on for dear life, and that's exactly what she does. Later on in the match, Bayley stands up, slaps Sky across the face. Sky dropped Bayley with a punch. Bayley stood up and threw several forms at Sky and went for a Bayley to belly, but Sky countered into a suplex for a near fall. She then does a neck breaker and a back breaker, hits the moonsault finisher, but Bayley kicks out of the pin attempt. Sky is shocked. How dare she gets up from the moonsault? Sky is then frustrated, hits a standing moonsault and a middle rope moonsault. She goes up top, goes for her finisher yet again. Bayley avoids it this time. Bayley went for a rose plant, but Sky blocked it and then charged Bayley, who dropped her with a clothesline. Bayley used the ropes to pull herself to her feet. The crowd comes alive, singing for Bayley quite literally throughout the entire match. Bayley executes a back suplex and then goes to the top, hits a elbow drop. Bayley put Sky down with the rose plant and got 1, 2, 3 to win the WWE Women's Championship in 14 minutes, 20 seconds. There you go. Woo!
Yeah, I mean, WWE was definitely looking for some NXT nostalgia wins over the weekend with the world champions. When you look at it, right, as we're going to get into the main event, you look at Bayley taking home a title. You look at Drew McIntyre, right, the chosen one himself, taking home a title, even if it was for 5 minutes. But yeah, the crowd was hot from the start for Bayley, as they should have been. And I think that from the Royal Rumble, the crowd, all they wanted was for Bayley to take home a championship, whatever it was going to be. And this is the right way to go. There's no way that she was going to beat Rhea Ripley. I don't think anybody can beat Rhea at this point.
No, it's going to take someone really, really special. Someone like a Tiffany
it's
Stratton.
Take one? No. I think it's going to take a Jade Cargill, probably.
Oh, man, that match would be insane. Jade Cargill versus Rhea. Oh, man.
Think about all that meat. Honestly, think about all that female meat in that match, Boris. That would be wild.
Yep. All right, let us jump to the main event. Bloodline rules for the WWE Universal Championship. Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. All right, let's take some time to chat about this match. Like I said, after this, we're going to talk about what we think is going to happen next. Just a reminder that if you are a patron, you already have the link to join us. We'll keep going until the chat dies down. And we'll take things from there. I'm tired. I can already tell my voice is starting to go. This match was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. It was only 33 minutes, 25 seconds, according to my phone.
Yeah, I think before we started watching it, we even talked about how it could potentially go up to an hour, and to expect that. Yeah. And it's WrestleMania, so it is a main event, and that can happen. And that's honestly, man, that's why I miss Iron Man matches so much, because Iron Man matches, you were guaranteed to have that 60-minute classic.
Exactly. And you know how long the match is going to be for the most part, right? It might be a little more, but it's at least an hour long. I like the fact that they gave these guys enough time on their own, one-on-one, before the shenanigans started.
Yeah. And honestly, man, I think that we would be entirely remiss to talk about this being a Roman Reigns main event at WrestleMania, let alone a Roman Reigns match, if we weren't talking about some shenanigans. But I think that the shenanigan level that we got was definitely near Looney Tunes-esque. And yeah, we're going to break all that down.
Yep. Exactly. Bayley will be a better champ than Io. Io did nothing at all. Nothing at all. Third wheel in every situation. That's and I think the commentators even said it, that Io Sky was an
stupid
underrated
sexy
champ.
Io.
Like she was stupid sexy Io. Yeah. Yeah, she was underrated. Like, and unfortunately, I wouldn't even say underrated as opposed to underused, underutilized. She's such a talent. I don't know why they didn't do better by Io.
Let's make one comment about Io, okay? And that kind of goes hand in hand with the champions on both brands, okay? If you look at what Rhea Ripley has done with her belt in comparison to what Io Sky has done with her belt, you can't compare the two. It's just insurmountable. And the same goes to be said about, before tonight, what Roman Reigns has done with his title in comparison to what Seth Rollins had done with his. So it's hard to compare both champions as being, um, at such a higher echelon as the same one on two different brands. And I think that's the issue that you saw here with Io Sky. Because when she won the title, we all wanted it. We were all there for it and happy for it. It's just, man, it's wrestling, it's booking. Sometimes it just doesn't work out the way we planned for it.
Yeah, that's perfectly said. Honestly, I think that is the best way to put it at the end of the day. Sometimes shit happens and it just doesn't work out. All right, let's talk about we're talking about the main event right now. So, like we said, they gave this match a lot of time on their own. And one thing, though, is that at no point, I don't know about you, but did you ever feel the match was going to end when they were alone?
No, there was no way. It just, after what we've seen over the last, 2 years here with Roman Reigns, there's just absolutely no way that it was going to end in a completely clean finish. I think we expected to see more than what we saw, and different than what we saw for sure. But there was no way these two guys were just going to have it off to themselves, especially after night one ending up in a loss to Cody.
Yeah. Let's talk about the shenanigans, because I'm gonna jump to the shenanigans. The whatever.
Shenaniganery. Like it's not
yeah,
even
it's the shenaniganery
of
of the night.
Yeah. Oh god,
we're gonna skip to the shenaniganery of the night. But before that, do you think that because, like, as we were talking about on the previous show, as I was talking about last night, as I talked about on the Godfathers of Podcasting and other shows, right? I think everyone kind of built something up in their head in terms of what was going to happen. And because it was different than what actually happened, some people are upset, some people are happy. Like, you're getting a lot of ups and down reactions. Do you think that, like, we put too much stock on the possibility of, oh, so-and-so is going to debut, then this is going to happen, and that's going to happen?
Oh, we always do that, man. As wrestling fans, there's two events that we fantasize about the most, and that is Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. And for whatever reason, we always expect that those major debuts or shocks are going to happen during that show. And again, you have to blame the internet a little bit for this too, and dirt sheets or reports or whatever you want to call it. When you're looking all over the internet and they're talking about how MJF has been removed from the website for AEW, Jacob Fatu has been signed to WWE. All these things have been announced, and they haven't actually shown what's going on with them, and they didn't show up tonight. Then yeah, you're going to be a little disappointed, but it doesn't mean that this wasn't exactly the way that they planned things to happen. It also doesn't mean that those guys aren't still signed. They just are going to be debuting at a different time because of maybe contract issues.
We're gonna talk about that after this, because I'm gonna throw out a scenario and see what people think about this. But we'll talk about that after. I'm glad every Bloodline member had a counter. Taker felt like Lesnar's replacement. Definitely thought Rock was turning. Yeah, I never even thought about that, right? I didn't think, because Taker was the one guy who kind of felt a little off, or I don't know. I honestly thought that we were gonna see Austin to take out the Rock.
I don't see that Taker was a replacement for Lesnar. I don't think Lesnar was ever supposed to be involved in this. I don't see how it made any sense in the grand scheme of things. And if you're going to have guys like Lesnar there, then you had to have guys there. Logan Paul, Sami Zayn, you had to have everybody there that's been defeated by Roman Reigns and, the bloodline shenanigans. So I don't think it was ever supposed to be Lesnar. Taker was there already for his show. He was there in Philadelphia already, so he's there, man. It's WrestleMania. It's Undertaker. Uh, listen, when we're talking about who was there, I'm shocked Hulk Hogan didn't run out and also come join the side of Cody, maybe in full Mr. America gear, right? Like, honestly, I expected something different. I didn't like the whole extra overdoing the legends thing. And when I saw Undertaker in the ring with The Rock, I was like, okay, The Rock obviously looks like he's more in ring ready than Undertaker is at this point in his life.
No, for sure. All right, let's talk about what happens. Cody hits the crossroads, sets up to hit the move again, and Jimmy Uso appears in the ring and super kicks Cody. Reigns hits Cody with a Superman punch. Jay Uso's music plays. Jimmy runs to the stage and
as he slowly makes his way to the ring, dancing his way to the ring quickly.
He almost pulled a Jeff Hardy. While Darby Allin is getting his ass kicked.
It was ridiculous.
Yep. We'll get to that. I'm just gonna keep that comment there on the screen. So then, like, the music hits, Jimmy eats a super kick. Then Jay spears Jimmy off the stage and through a table in the ring. Cody speared Reigns and covered him for a near fall. Reigns came right back with a spear for a close near fall. Solo Sikoa shows up, saves Reigns. Sikoa performs the Samoan spike at the same time that Reigns spears Cody, and that leads to another near fall. Eric, at any of these points, did you think Roman was going to win?
No.
All right, move on.
No, I didn't. I honestly didn't. There was no point in time during this match where I thought that Roman was going to take the win. And that's no matter who was interfering or what happened or what double team or anything happened. I knew where WWE wanted to go in this, in the direction here. And I knew that belt was. Anyways, let's move forward.
Yeah, exactly. All right. John Cena's music hits and he runs down the ramp, through punches at Sikoa. Cena clotheslines Sikoa to the floor, then hits Reigns with the attitude adjustments. Cena puts Solo through a broadcast table with the attitude adjustments, and this is when The Rock makes his entrance, joins Cena in the ring. Cena removed his t-shirt. They go face to face. Cena does the "you can't see me." Rock puts Cena down with a rock bottom, and then The Rock removed his weight belt that had Mama Rhodes written on it. Then became the weirdest part of the night when the Shield music hits. Okay. For anyone who knows Dragon Ball Z, and I'm going to give some credit to Dax for this one, Seth Rollins was the ultimate Yamcha of WWE this weekend, and this match in particular.
Oh my God. This moment took me out of it, man. And I'll tell you why. So when this happened, I was like, why are you doing this unless you have Dean Ambrose here?
Moxley?
Because if Dean Ambrose showed up, then that would have been a moment, right? If he showed up as a Shield member to take out Roman Reigns with Seth Rollins, then great. But instead, you had Seth Rollins show up looking like a crash test dummy, literally getting no camera time before he's just down on the ground. And I had myself wondering if it was even Seth Rollins or it was like a Seth Rollins clone, like a fake Sting, but only a fake Seth. Like it made no sense to me at all. It makes no sense to me still. I don't know why Seth was there. I don't get it.
Yeah, it was very weird, right? Look, I understand at the end of the day, and it was, they were going for moments. They were going for all of these small moments, but this one to me was the biggest miss of them all. So Seth Rollins shows up. He's dressed in Shield gear now, has the chair in his hand. Reigns returned to the ring. Wow. He takes Rollins out with a Superman punch. Rock was censored as he's saying some stuff. He's about to whip Cody.
Let's talk about the fact too that the chair hit, came from Roman, and then Michael Cole was like, all of those years, finally, retribution. It's like, this is definitely not the moment to be getting retribution for something that does not matter anymore.
Yeah, I agree. All right, the gong sounds. Rock's eyes are bugged out. They cut to a shot of the crowd when they went back to the ring. Undertaker was in the ring behind The Rock.
The
Taker
Rock,
was
hold
dressed
on.
in all...
The Rock's greatest adversary of all time, The Undertaker. They've had so many classic matches together at WrestleMania in the main event. Like, it was just... Yeah,
That's what I mean. Okay,
listen, there's a comment on the screen that you haven't said yet, Boris, and you have to say it because it makes more sense, even more as we're talking about it at this very moment.
This is the moment for that. Taker showing up for Bloodline business made no sense at all. Austin showing up for Rock as the final boss made more sense. And that's literally why I kept it up on the screen for this long, because that is something I wanted to say.
It makes literally no sense that we don't have Stone Cold Steve Austin in this very moment delivering a stunner, and we have The Undertaker delivering a chokeslam fresh off of his, Taker on tour, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, he was in town anyway, so I guess it was easy to call him in.
Yep. All right, so after this, Rock gets chokeslammed, the gong sounds again, Taker was gone, and The Rock was no longer in the ring. I guess he took him to the back. I don't know. He's on a cross somewhere. Reigns picks up a chair, looked at Cody, looks at Rollins, and he slams the chair over the back of Rollins, just as Rollins did when he turned on Reigns. Roman let out a war cry, but Cody catches him with a kick. He hits Reigns with 3 crossroads. I think everyone called it. It's going to be at least 3 crossroads. Then gets the pin, and we have a new champion in 33 minutes, 25 seconds. Cody Rhodes finishes his story against Roman Reigns, and that is that.
It actually took 6 crossroads because he got 3 already before that. It just this time you could tell it was a little bit more intense because and kudos to Roman Reigns too, who's incredible at selling, because as Roman was getting lifted for that 3rd crossroads, you could hear him also, groaning agonizingly, and Roman is definitely somebody who deserves some time off. And also to the comment that's on the screen here, Seth and Becky going on vacation because, man, Seth has been doing the job. You're absolutely right. That guy has been working with injuries. He's been
the Yamcha of this weekend, too. Not only has he been the Superman, like going through injury, showing up, working, defending the title, working through injury. I think I said that 3 times. But this weekend takes 2 L's and then just gets decimated in the big finale.
Working through injuries too. I also think he's working through injuries.
You think he's working through injuries? All right.
I don't know.
Joining us on the line is someone who watched this live there. You heard him earlier on the main show. That is Ray. Ray, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Ray.
Ray,
hear you loud
talk about everything. Talk about the night. Focus on the main event.
Yeah, well, I think it really was just a party. And I've been to a lot of wrestling shows, big, medium, and small. And I think nowadays it's so hard to get that type of emotion. I mean, I saw kids crying, hugging their dad and big brother. And another thing, no one was leaving at the end of this match. I mean, everyone stayed there to watch this whole ceremony for Cody at the very end. People were just glued to it. And I think as well, just elated, we had this event where, I mean, WWE mostly gave the people what they wanted. And I don't think we're used to that.
No, we're not, honestly. When you look at the era that we're in right now in comparison to the era that we were in even 2 years ago, the Paul Levesque Triple H era is absolutely different than the Vince McMahon era. I think ultimately they want to keep us mostly happy as fans at these grand events. And throughout the year, we can gripe about as much as we want about the losses. And I think you make a great point there about nobody wanting to leave. I think people can really relate to Cody and WWE has done a really good job of building him up as that working man champion. So yeah, everybody was I'd imagine everybody was pretty happy in the arena with the main event and the outcome.
I know he has connection
Yeah, they
issues.
were, and I mean, it was bookended. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm. We got you.
It was bookended by that at the beginning with so many twists and turns, and yeah, the crowd was really just eating that up.
The crowd seemed
so
a lot
excited at
more
every turn.
pro Cody. Yeah, the crowd seemed a lot more pro Cody tonight than last night.
Yeah, I think that's mostly true. You certainly had a good contingent of Rock fans last night. I will say that the crowd was not 100% Cody. There were quite a few people who were rooting for Roman Reigns. But again, I think once the big moment happened, most of the folks were just happy to be part of that moment and kind of joined in the celebration.
Yeah, I think as wrestling fans, we like to be contrarian sometimes. And I think that Cody losing tonight would have been the most contrarian thing of all time, right? So there are some people that want to see the world burn and wanted to see Cody lose tonight. But ultimately, I think this is exactly what was supposed to happen. Roman's riding off into the sunset, man. He's on his way to Hollywood. He's good to go.
Exactly. Did anything? So the show went off the air essentially when Cody was up the ramp. Anything happen after?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. Did they show Cody interacting with Nick Khan on the broadcast? That is something we saw. Okay. So I think you all pretty much saw everything we did.
Yeah, they showed a lot actually. They showed all of the interactions. Cody had like the champion, raised with all of the other faces in the ring, right? So we saw that as well. But I think to Boris's point is a lot of the time with like AEW shows when they go off air, especially if somebody wins a title, there's usually some long, rousing speech, and I guess Cody's saving that for Raw.
I kind of feel like they actually aired it, right? Because I feel like typically they would have ended after the pyro, but like with the family in there when he called out Bruce Pritchard and Triple H and all those people. Yeah, that's typically what we wouldn't see live on the broadcast. But Ray, anything else you want to chat about?
One kind of unusual thing. When we heard the Shield music, most of the folks live really thought that was Moxley. I don't know what folks thought at home.
Yep. Everyone.
That's 100% what I thought. That's 100% what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought if you're gonna hit the Shield music and it's gonna be Seth, it makes no sense. So I thought it was Moxley. Or, completely out of left field, I thought maybe it was Kurt Angle in full Shield gear.
That would have been the best.
and when we got neither, I was like, okay, I guess we're getting Seth. But I didn't even see, honestly, the way that it showed on TV, we didn't even know it was Seth. So I hope when you were in arena, you actually knew it was Seth, because on TV, we only saw Seth on the ground, like knocked out. That's all we saw.
That's pretty much what we could see too, because it happened so fast. Yeah.
Amazing. I have to ask you.
Yeah, and
did you get your seats sorted?
We did. So we got much better seats. Only a few rows up from the floor.
Nice.
So we got our WrestleMania miracle today. And
awesome.
The weather was quite a bit warmer today, which was also nice, and was able to find the last kids championship belt they had to take home for my son. So a lot of stuff kind of worked out today, which was good.
Awesome.
It looked really cold last night. Like it looked really cold last night. I saw a lot of people in their jackets. So it's good that it was a little bit warmer tonight and easier to enjoy, because honestly, dealing with the elements at any sporting event is the worst. And that's being spoken from a Buffalo Bills fan.
Yeah,
So
I was literally gonna say, like, as a Bills, I'm not a fan. Pff, come on, I like real teams, but like going to a Bills games after October, worst thing humanly possible. But yeah,
and
Ray,
the best at the same time.
Steeler fans are aware too, but yeah.
there you go. All right, Ray, would you give this overall weekend a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Thumbs up for sure. I mean, a WrestleMania full of good matches and logical booking. So how can you go wrong with that?
Exactly. Ray, thank you so much for calling. We'll stay in touch, and again, thanks for checking in, and we'll chat very soon. Thanks so much.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
That's
Thanks,
awesome.
Ray.
Just remember that if you do attend a pay-per-view, you can always call the after party, and we're gonna get you up ASAP. Yeah, Eric, what a night. That was the show essentially. What a fun WrestleMania. I'm gonna open up the comments. I'm gonna have a drink of water first, right? Water.
Yeah, I mean, it was a fun WrestleMania. Man, I was talking to somebody today, actually. I met somebody recently, and her dad was in the indie wrestling scene, so she actually grew up having WrestleMania parties at her place. And a few times Andre the Giant came by and the Bushwhackers. So she showed me some pictures. I was like, wow, that's super cool. And it made me remember like everything that I love nostalgically about WrestleMania, and why this weekend, or why the show itself, is so important to all of us, right? It was funny. We were talking about Hulk Hogan earlier too, and somebody said, "There's no way Hulk Hogan could get down to the ring first spot." Brother, he could get down. No, I don't know if he could. I don't know if he could, but we have to all look back at like Hulk Hogan as one of the main reasons why we're all here and why we enjoy this show so much, this WrestleMania as much as we do.
We're going to I'm going to read some of the feedback from the threads that are up on the board, and we'll talk about them. Bob Kapoor said, "What a stellar weekend. I've been watching wrestling since I was 4 years old. Never been embarrassed to be a fan. This weekend has justified that." Very cool. Jay Lambier, who has participated so much this weekend. Jay, thanks for taking part with everything. Awesome WrestleMania weekend. Can't believe they wrapped that all up in half hour. I thought this was going to 11 or beyond for sure. Glad they didn't drag it out and hit all the points. Exactly, right? Like, I think everyone was expecting this match to at least be 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think so too. I listen, we expect that to happen at WrestleMania. We expect to kind of drag on a little bit too. And for the half an hour or 33 minutes or whatever it was, it didn't seem like it was that long. It definitely had, cohesiveness to the match, and it was well booked.
Yep.
Tom Mahegan says, "Boris, you can see me. Can you see me?" I don't know. Maybe somebody's trying to call in.
No, we don't. I only have Ray, which I'm going to keep him on the line because I think he's listening to us through his phone. But no, I cannot see you. All right. Aaron Nemec says, "I'm surprised the show is over early. What a fantastic way to end the show. Everything was perfect." All right.
We like it when the show's over early, because then we can talk about it. Like, honestly, we're here talking now for an hour and 5 minutes about wrestling. And if we were doing that starting at 11 o'clock, my God, it gets a little bit difficult.
Oh, I'm so happy. I am so happy right now with how early it is. Like, I'm just like, we can go out after this, Eric.
We're not going out after this. it's not happening it's not happening, guys. But yeah, Denji, it was fun talking to everyone. Thank you, Denji. Thank you for coming by, man. Appreciate it.
This Eric Blondon goof says This Eric Blondon goof on the thread says, only feedback is please just give us one night and one great card. We already talked about that's not going to happen.
Listen, we want
Joe,
it so badly, but there's no way that it's happening now. The ad money is far too high and the revenue is going to be far too high. If anything, we're going to see a third night built into this eventually.
man, CM Punk was telling no lies even back then. Joe says, I thought night 2 was way better than night 1. Tonight felt like WrestleMania. It really did. We'll talk about that in a second. Also, my personal match of the night was Bayley versus Io. I know Cody versus Roman was the big storyline, and that match was good too. But for what I look for in wrestling, Bayley and Io checked all the boxes. Overall, though, total thumbs up on this show.
Well, listen,
Great point.
I have
This
to make one
did feel-
comment. Yeah, I got to make one comment about that match specifically, okay? Because that match specifically was the one match that I watched tonight, and I saw at least 2 or 3 botches, and it made no sense at all. Like, both of them know how to work very well together. There was that German suplex spot that was initially botched, and I was like, what? Like, it just didn't make any sense. So it definitely had the feels that you wanted for it. And it definitely gave you the result that you wanted, was Bayley as champion. But I don't think it was an incredible match. That being said, we're all entitled to have different opinions about things. So if you think that I'm completely wrong about it, debate me on that topic. I fucking love that. It's really great. And that's why we're all together as wrestling fans and just also as human beings. We all like different things and we all have different tastes.
You want to take that comment? Because I agree with this wholeheartedly.
The roster is deeper than it's ever been. Reminds me of post-invasion angle roster. Honestly, it is. And apparently we are going back into the draft format. So that is going to be happening sometime shortly. The roster is crazier than it's ever been, especially the male roster, especially when it's entirely healthy. Pro wrestling in total right now is just crazy. And when we think about what could happen, tomorrow at this point, what can happen tomorrow on Monday Night Raw? It's just wild. If we actually hear MJF's music tomorrow on Monday Night Raw, when Cody comes out to do his whole title speech, that would be wild. And that will change things so much. So
do you remember the WrestleMania after WrestleMania, or the Raw after WrestleMania 14? When Triple H comes out and he says, Sean dropped the ball, it's now my DX.
Yep.
There's Tama Tonga. There's a bunch of other people. Jacob Fatuza apparently signed. I have a feeling, and I don't know who the leader's going to be, but I have a feeling that we're going to see a new bloodline being formed tomorrow night on Raw.
Well, listen, Roman's gone. He has to be gone. Like, if Roman comes back on SmackDown and does send off or anything like that, I would be entirely disappointed. I think that Roman Reigns and his title reign has been so special that this has to be the last time we ever see him again. I would
even
die for that to happen.
That is why I forgive that Seth Rollins chair shot, because it's kind of like just checking that last tick mark. I'm getting Seth back for that shot when he broke up the Shield. Honestly, this did feel like Roman Reigns' swan song. Commentary said it best. Pro wrestling is back.
Listen, The Rock said it best. The mana is back in pro wrestling. And next comment that's here on the screen as well. Women's roster is stacked. They brought in Jade Cargill and put her on teams with Bianca when everybody else wants to see them go one-on-one. I completely agree. And listen, we still want to see them go one-on-one. It's going to be incredible once they finally do go one-on-one. But the women's roster in WWE, the one thing that they got to figure out is what they want to do with the tag division and what they do with the singles division, because it definitely changes the trajectory of how serious these female competitors are taken. And as somebody who watches Monday Night Raw and reviews it over the last 6 months, I can tell you that they don't do well with the women when they make it to the tag division. So I hope they keep Jade as special as she is, and I hope that they keep her as a spectacle.
Yep. All right. Ruben, Send me a DM on Facebook and I'll get you up. I know that you're listening and I know that you're adding comments to the chat. DM me on Facebook. I know you were friends there, so I'll send you the link there. All right.
Solo
Sikoa
spoke in English. He's going to be the new face of the bloodline while Roman takes a break. You're 100% right. And also something that I noticed in this match too that was completely out of left field is that Solo was actually directing Roman what to do. He was telling him to take Cody out, and Roman was saying, "I know, I got you." So yeah, I can definitely see Solo being that guy and that face going forward. Ultimately, if Roman's not there, though, the bloodline aspect has to die out. It has to go away. And if it doesn't
has to
go away,
change.
it's not believable. No, I think it has to die. I think it just needs to go somewhere else.
It dies with Roman. There we go. All right. We are going to be getting someone coming on that was at the show. So let's go through some more comments here. Dan Austin said it was an excellent show overall. They delivered on their storylines. Only major belt that didn't change hands was Ripley, which makes sense. New champions, new angles. The show did what it needed to do. Move on from the Brock, Roman, Charlotte, Becky era. They have been in for almost a decade. The product feels fresh and exciting now. I might even tune into Raw tomorrow for the first time in many years. Yep. That's a big one. Rob Gableman called this mid. Just didn't feel like how WrestleMania should be. I feel like this could have been any other PLE, just didn't have that special feeling. All right. Well, we're still waiting for people. Keep going through some of the comments.
I gotta disagree with that comment because when we look at all other PLEs, they definitely don't have this WrestleMania feel. So we've seen that every match really on this card, besides Karrion Kross and Akam and Razor or whatever the hell you want to call them. I mean, I'm talking about like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle references at this point. But you know what I mean, right? Like I feel like this definitely had the feel of WrestleMania, especially night 2 over night 1. And ultimately, again, we all have different opinions, but I think that you'll see probably 75% of fans thinking that this was a good show tonight.
I would say more than that, like for the most part, unless people were really let down by not seeing new Bloodline members or MJF or something crazy like that. I think a lot of people would overall like this show. But what do we know? The only one that keeps... man.
Like, honestly, we did that at Royal Rumble too, right? Because we didn't get the expectation. We didn't get what we expected. We didn't get Kazuchika Okada, so we keep fantasizing that things are going to be greater than they're going to be. Then we're always going to be let down in life, right? So I think that this is a really good show, and I think it delivered on what it needed to be.
Right. The only one that keeps Bloodline alive is The Rock. Yep, that seems to be the possibility. Well, this one's for you, Eric.
It's a possibility by far, but it is not a reality. The Rock is not on TV anymore. They don't have the money to pay Rock to continue to be on TV. Especially after he just did he was on a match. Toka, Razor, prove yourselves to me. Attack.
All right. Bloodline won't die. It keeps Jimmy Uso busy, and you're liking this way too much. Bloodline won't die.
Denji, you win, bro. Honestly, Denji, you win the comments for the night, brother. You got to join the Facebook group 100%.
It keeps Jimmy Uso busy and makes Solo the new Heyman guy. Unless Heyman rejoins Punk. Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think that'll happen.
Listen, I agree with the Jimmy needs to be kept busy. And Jimmy and Jay separate will never be as good as they are together. So there has to be something bloodline related there. And who knows if Tama Tonga comes in, if Jacob Fatu comes in, then maybe we'll see them grow.
Yep. Mike Agostino on the Facebook group says, I think they pretty much got everything right. I was in the stadium both nights, and tonight felt like an epic WrestleMania. Love seeing the old school style babyface locker room putting Cody on their shoulders in the ring. I'm glad I made the 6-hour drive from Boston to Philly to be here.
It was definitely like a Bret Hart moment for sure, right? When you saw all of the faces, hoist another face on the shoulders, old school moment. And I think that a lot of us are in that demographic where we're like 36 to 50. And we like our nostalgia, man. We're all about it. We're tuning into Stranger Things. Listen, as soon as Stranger Things final season comes out, I'm watching it, Boris. I'm binging it.
I'm not. Not at all. I hate that show. I've given that show like 10 tries, and I can't make it past the very first episode.
That's because you're a Stranger Thing.
A few people might agree with that. Gary Chan says, wow, what a great main and great 2 nights of wrestling. I love how Cody Roman picked up on past moments and used them. Cena coming back to get even with Solo. Roman coming full circle and whacking Seth in the back like Seth did to him years ago. Very nice.
Okay. I mean, I can see why people like that moment. I just don't think that there's no reason why it fits into the storyline here. And to have the Shield music hit is just a stupid pop. And if it wasn't Moxley, if it wasn't Dean Ambrose, then I don't see why it's Shield music. It makes no sense at all.
The only reason that I can see them wanting to use Shield music, but they should have just used no music, is maybe they didn't want the singing. They didn't want the people singing.
No music at all is fine. Seth in cosplay, out of cosplay is also fine. I think it would have been fine with that.
Yeah, the Shield cosplay was the best. And Ruben, how's it going? You just got kicked out. All right.
Somebody came in and
I pissed them off.
One more time. Yeah, no, I again, like, Seth Rollins is amazing. I've talked so highly of Seth Rollins for a very long time. I think that he is definitely one of the top 5 male performers in all of professional wrestling, especially when you look at how much he wrestles and his longevity of doing so. He's incredible. He's definitely the workhorse of WWE, and he deserves all the accolades that he gets.
Hey, Ruben, your camera is on. We see something creepy. Looks like a David Lynch movie right now.
We see the darkness.
Can you hear us?
Hey, I can see a car.
Like they're making a getaway. It's like they're making a getaway from Philadelphia. I would too, actually.
Turn on your microphone, my friend.
He's not. All right. I'm going to throw him back on in a little bit. All right. This was a good comment. So, who's Braun Breaker going to target on Raw? There's always a big surprise on the Raw after Mania. Not last year, I think. I remember last year's Raw after Mania being horrendous.
Timid. Honestly, it was very timid. It was probably one of the worst Raws after Mania ever. So, with that being said, this is Triple H's WWE now. So we have a multitude. We actually have a multitude of potential surprises that are going to happen here. And I don't know if it's going to be Braun Breaker. Like, I really don't know if it's going to be Braun Breaker who comes out. And I also think that it might be a little too soon to push Braun Breaker into that fold where he attacks a Cody or something like that. And if he doesn't attack a Cody, then who does he attack that actually makes sense? A Sami Zayn? I don't know about that. I think Sami Zayn needs to go into a bit of a title feud here with Chad Gable. I think that makes the most sense first.
Remember, Chad owes him a favor. Also, Braun Breaker technically officially, is on SmackDown, right? So I think, but who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really make sense.
Doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Ruben says, sorry, my mic is not working. It's awesome. I am off to party. It is 12:07 a.m. And yeah, enjoy your partying, sir.
You see, Eric? We can still party. All right. Douglas Stanford Grandy says, the best with me and with our listeners. The best party known to man. The best WrestleMania in quite a while. Not perfect, but still the best one in years. I agree. Overall, this one was a very fun one. Like I said, what I really liked about this weekend is something that they should have done since they made WrestleMania 2 nights. And that's having a story that goes from night 1 into night 2. Keeps you interested rather than having 2 completely siloed cards.
Yeah, that's the difference that we've seen, definitely. since we've started this whole 2-night process, at least we've seen that the storyline kind of bleeds one night into the next. But I'm still going to go on record to say, like, I don't see how much it bleeds into one night to the next. I don't see a difference. Like, I still think that the bloodline would have interfered no matter what.
All right, here's a thought. Logan Paul gloats about his Mania win, then Braun Breaker's music hits. Sounds like fun to me. You know what? Honestly, at this point, Braun Breaker is going to be a star. He's going to get up there real fast. Remember, he's still also NXT Tag Champ, so we have to get through that. Eric, think about this for a little bit. Let's think who might, if there are any call-ups from NXT, who is it going to be? I'm going to go back to the Facebook group, see what people are saying. Angelo.
It's for me, honestly, I think it's Tiffany Stratton. That's probably the first one that we're going to see called up.
She's been on SmackDown for a little while. Yes, Donnie, you can. Let me get you the link. Boom. I gotta love these live things happening. All right. So there is Angelo Mantiso says, such a great show. It's really great when wrestling makes sense. Having Cena and Undertaker show up was super cool. It was an excellent 2 nights. Not every match was awesome, but most were. Overall, the show was really good. Glad to see Cody win, and I called Priest cashing in on Drew after Drew got his moment, so that was fun too.
Yeah, I think that Vegas definitely had like minus 4,000 odds on Priest cashing in after that match. Definitely a lot of people called that for sure. But yeah, it's still cool to see your predictions come true.
Exactly. Especially like with WWE, because the amount of times, like I know we've said this so many times, but the amount of times that they have let us down over the years. All right, Mike Leochi says, night 1, give it 8.5 out of 10. Night 2, give it 9.5 out of 10. Night 2, much better. Every match delivered. One of the best WrestleManias. Second best WrestleMania of all time. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't say that type of stuff. Honestly, it's just not possible for me to say that kind of stuff because it's just a different era, right? But it was a good WrestleMania. I'm not going to say that it wasn't because it was still very good.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. I just left the arena like half an hour ago.
You sound exhausted. You sound like you've been through war. You sound like you were there with Cody and Bloodline.
Hell.
Well, what happened was when me and my crew got in, they canceled the hotel on us, and we had to like go to a hotel 45 minutes away, and then we're all tired. We went to the ECW arena, and then we went to GCW after till like 4 a.m. and then we're all pretty exhausted. So hold up.
You saw the cluster. You saw the cluster battle royal.
Yeah, that I like. You know what? I actually like towards the end. I just I fell asleep. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't blame you, man. That was something else.
Like I saw Shane Douglas and Tommy Dreamer, and then that somehow turned into like a chicken and cat in the hat, and then Micro Brawler like won against Nick Gage. Like none of it made any sense. So I don't know.
See, I would be afraid to take an edible before going to that cluster battle royal.
No, listen, I've been to a GCW show. I've actually been to a couple of GCW shows before, and I've had a great time every time. But what were your thoughts on WrestleMania?
It was amazing. It was amazing. I went to All In last year too, and I have some big events under my belt now, and not to make the comparison, but WWE is showing that they are the company, right? The production was just like off the charts, like everything was really organized. And
ultimately there is no comparison, right?
Yeah.
From one to the next when you look at how much goes into it, because I've been at big shows like WrestleMania, and I've been at big AEW shows too, like Double or Nothing, and see the difference right away, right? But if there was one thing that you could really take home, like as your favorite moment from this WrestleMania weekend, what would it be?
Yeah, I gotta say it was the priest cash in.
Nice.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was a moment, right? And that's what I was going to talk about earlier, where it feels like moments. There were real moments tonight as opposed to last night. Even like the celebrity moments with Snoop Dogg tonight, right? Like there were things that made it feel like WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
Right,
it was. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. Talk to us about the crowd. How did you take the crowd? Where were you sitting? And then I think we're gonna let you get a nap.
Yeah. Well, I'm up to party, but no.
There you go.
Like, well, we were sitting in the upper section, and like the view was good. Like it was pretty high up. The view was good though. Like there's like they said obstruction on the ticket, but there wasn't really. And like I moved around a little bit and saw like the front facing section of the entrance, and no, the crowd was good, really good crowd. Like I had my hesitations about the Philly crowd but no, they were pretty good. The Philly crowd was pretty good. Everybody was cool. No, it was great. Man. It was a great. It was great that it was a good choice for 40 to be there.
Awesome. So happy that you had fun. So happy that you got to connect. Always fun, man. Always fun, Ruben. So we'll talk. We'll keep in touch. We'll get you on trivia. We'll get you on the main show coming soon. All right, dude. Have fun. Party. Get your rest. Actually, no. Don't get your rest. Just party it up. Pull a Boris. Do what you got to do.
All right, man. All right, thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Oh, love it. Love it. Eric, we're not allowed to travel and watch wrestling together. I think one of us would not come home.
Well, we definitely can't go to Vegas. That's for sure.
Well,
ain't surviving Vegas. That's not happening.
No, not with you.
3 days in Vegas is more than I can definitely take.
Yeah, let me know if you want to join. We're gonna keep lines open for a little bit longer. Donnie, I know, was there. We're gonna wait for him. Someone else said that they wanted to jump on. Yeah, this is fun. This is good times. All right, so let's talk about Raw. We talked about the Bloodline, who we think is going to be joining, and what that is. Any other predictions for Raw?
Honestly, man, not predictions, but I think that the biggest want by far is the most obvious one, and that's you hear MJF's music. If you hear MJF's music at the end of the night, after maybe Cody has like had a conversation with maybe, I don't know, Drew or something like that, but also, I don't know. Now that belt is on Cody, does that mean Cody is going brand to brand? Does he mean that he's just going to SmackDown? Who knows? A lot is going to happen tomorrow night, and for the first time in a long time, it's actually, a difference that we're seeing.
All right, Donnie. Hey, Donnie, how's it going?
I'm good, guys. What's going on?
Not much,
What's up,
not
Donnie?
much. Talk to us.
Thanks for joining, brother.
Talk to us about WrestleMania, your experience. What did you think? It sounded, from reading the comments, you enjoyed it quite a bit.
Listen, people can nitpick and drill down. Well, it would have been better if they did this. This is 3 nights, and I'm saying 3 because I'm counting everything they did Friday. This is 3 nights of solid entertainment. Okay, I watched with my bro Danny O, hip hop legend. By the way, he's got a new video out. Check it out. It's called Like We. Dan and I chilled together all weekend. And we were laughing about it, saying, bro, we used to watch every pay-per-view together. When's the last time we even wanted to do this? And he's sitting there going, yeah, I'm not really up on wrestling anymore, but, fill me in. And I'm like, I don't need to fill you in. The packages before every match will fill you in. And he's sitting there watching the packages before every match, loving it. And by the time he left my place tonight, he's like, "Oh, dude, I got to watch Raw tomorrow. Like, I'm back in. I'm fully back in." And it's just, he said to me, this is what really stood out. He said, the reason he stopped watching wrestling 5-6 years ago, whatever it was, he said, there was too much happening that was insulting his intelligence. There was too much happening that was just cringy. There was too much happening where you're like, so stupid, right? And he's like, everything this weekend made sense. He's like, everything this weekend. He goes, there wasn't one match that he would look at. And remember, Dan is not just a hip hop guy. He's also a guy that's worked in the wrestling business, trained as a worker, was a wrestling manager for a while. He has experience in the wrestling business. And he goes, not one match was bad. Were there matches that weren't great? Sure. Were there matches that you could nitpick? Sure. There wasn't one match that was a dog kennel match, you know? Not one. There wasn't one bra and panties fiasco. Not one. Like, everything, you know, and people can, the Uso match sucked. Okay, was it the best? No. But was it fine? Yeah, it was totally fine. And so, like, I'm sitting here and I'm reading comments from people and I'm like, are y'all like hating on stuff because it's the cool thing to do? Are you just regurgitating what others are saying? Or do you have your own eyes that you can look at something and go, yeah, well, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Like, if I was booking this is probably what I would do. This is pretty good.
Yeah, it's the play of the wrestling fan, right?
I didn't watch any match and feel like there was anything negative going on. Like both nights, I felt like it was, you know, two cohesive nights, and then SmackDown too was very cohesive as well. I mean, that, you know, Andre the Giant Battle Royal had a lot of high spots in it, and it was really good. And a lot of people were talking nonsense about it before that started too. So yeah, I think that it's definitely, you make a good point, Donnie. It's very cool right now to talk negatively about things that are going on or adversely about other people's points. But ultimately, there was very little to pick apart about these two nights, these three nights. And they delivered. And I'd say 75% of the people that I see online are very happy about what they saw over the weekend.
But it's the vocal minority that makes me shake my head, Eric. It's the ones that are just like, well, they should have done this. And it's like, what are you basing that on? Because you said so, or because someone else said so, and now you're echoing what they said? Oh, Paul Heyman should have gone on last. Why? Cares? You started the show with the hottest thing you had, and you ended the show with the top star on the planet. I think that's pretty good. I think it's pretty good.
And I think people do forget that, right? Like, they ended with The Rock.
Rock, he's the biggest star on earth. Like,
he's, listen,
could you have
The
ended
Rock
the
has my brother. Yeah, my brother hasn't watched wrestling for 25 years, and he was messaging me over the weekend and being like, are you seeing the stuff that The Rock is doing on his promos? Are you seeing the stuff that The Rock is doing on TV? I was like, yeah, of course I am. I cover wrestling every week. But it's great stuff, and he hasn't watched it in a long time, and he was brought back to it because of what The Rock was doing. So yeah, again, Donnie, a lot of people have been online even picking that apart, saying The Rock is taking time away from other talent. He's not taking time away from them. He's building other talent up. We're talking about still having, you know, Tegan Knox on Raw the same week that The Raw was there, right? So if The Rock is there on Raw and he is promoting himself, you're going to watch until the end, and you're going to see that Tegan Knox match, and you're going to see that Ivy Nile match, and you're going to see all of these other performers that won't get that spotlight unless he is there. So me personally, I hate the fact that I'm going to turn on Raw this week, and I probably will not see The Rock, right? Yeah. But I've loved the fact that he has been there, and I have just enjoyed this ride. Honestly, it's been a great ride leading up to WrestleMania, and I'm excited to see what happens afterwards. I'm excited for Raw.
It's been fantastic as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, I can honestly say without, and okay, maybe a little bit of recency bias. We just finished watching WrestleMania 40. And then immediately after that was over, Dan and I watched the series finale of Curb Your Enthusiasm, which was dope, by the way.
Gotta catch
But-
that.
So I've seen no post WrestleMania press conferences. I missed the beginning of your show that you guys were doing here. I had to watch Curb, and then when Curb was on, I was like, all right, let's see what Boris is up to on the after party. So because guys, I have a
Yeah,
life.
hey,
too,
Larry
right?
David takes precedence.
No, listen,
Yeah,
I wasn't just like,
listen.
would be
I
watching
always
that.
say this to people too. Like, I have a lot of friends in wrestling, and even friends that are there at WrestleMania this weekend. I'm like, look, I would go to WrestleMania if it means that maybe one night that we're there in Philadelphia, we can do something that is not wrestling based. Anything,
Right.
but you know how it is
Yeah.
for wrestling fans.
I just feel like this whole thing has been put together so well. And I can honestly, what I was going to say is what I can say without hyperbole is I've never seen a main event in WWE history that had that kind of emotional draw at the conclusion. Can you guys think of one? Like the
It's funny that you
closest,
say that.
the closest I can think of, and it wasn't a main event, but the closest I can think of is WrestleMania 7, Macho Man Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior. That's the closest I can think of. Maybe a little bit of Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels, but like that even wasn't the main event, right? What
Yeah.
main event that ended a pay-per-view or a PLE as we call them now? What main event that ended a main show? Where did you sit there and go, wow, they really got this right? They really
No, honestly, it's attempted to be done before, but is obviously interjected as like this has to be the moment, right? So
Mhm.
it hasn't really been done in the main event spot before. I mean, I'm a sucker for Brett, so I think about Owen versus Brett.
Not
the
a main.
opening match there,
Rock
not a
Hogan.
main, right? But it had
And,
it
and,
had
as,
not
and
a
as
that
good as that was,
emotional
that
feel.
match, Owen and Brett technically was a masterpiece. A masterpiece. But did it have emotion? Like, were you fighting back tears? No.
No,
Right?
but
This
this is
different.
honestly, man, it's long-term storytelling at its finest.
Oh,
And
fuck.
as wrestling fans, we've been begging for this for years. We want long-term storytelling, we want long title reigns, but once it finally happens, we're like, you know what? We need a change because we have a very short-term, not we, but a lot of wrestling fans have a very short-term attention span, and they
Yeah.
want to see a quick change because they want the flavor of the month in comparison to the masterclass of Roman Reigns' long-term storytelling and title reign.
Boris, can I ask you a
With that
question?
said, Eric, I actually had a question for the two of you.
Okay, go.
How long, or not how long, but do you think, knowing how wrestling fans are and how fickle they are, that Cody Rhodes is going to start getting booed within 4 months? You don't think so?
No. No. Well, okay, look, is it possible? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. But I don't see it because Cody, like when the fans turned on Cena, right? It was because of the way it was done, where Cena seemed like he couldn't be beat. This guy just lost last night. He just lost last night. We still have sympathy for him. He's the champion, and we still have sympathy for him. I think that there is legs in this run. Now, that all being said, he could drop the title in 6 months. And, Roman or Rock could be champion when Raw starts on Netflix. Entirely possible. And then that starts a new journey. Who knows? But I just think that the Cody thing comes across to me, and I'm a guy who for years has said, I don't see Cody as a top guy. I don't. And now I do. Like, I buy it. I really buy it. So I don't know, Eric, he was asking both of us, do you think the crowd's going to turn on Cody?
I don't think they're going to turn on him the way they turned on him in AEW because I think
no.
AEW it was so blatantly obvious that he was the guy, he was a booker, he was everything, right? And people just turned on him right away. They hated him. The way that they booked him in WWE as really like not only the people's champion, but also the champion of the American people. There's no way that the crowds are going to turn on him that quickly. Like, he is the guy. I just don't see it happening. Like, if they continue to book him the way they've done so, where he wins out of adversity, like you said, he lost last night to The Rock. He got pinned by The Rock very easily after a rock bottom and a people's elbow.
As clean as could be.
Clean. Yeah, as clean as could
Cleanish.
possibly be. And then he came and he won clean enough. He came, he won this match. He beat all of the odds. Man, I was really hoping that there was like Logan Paul and all of the people that Roman beat to actually help him do it, but they brought in the Undertaker instead, and I can see why they did it, man. The Undertaker is their guy. Like, he's their money man. And he was
Always
in
the
town
flag
already,
bearer.
so why not? Yeah,
Boris,
he was already there
You
anyway.
got a question for me?
Yeah, I was going to ask you earlier. What are the language parameters on this show?
Oh, have at it.
All right. So can I be a dick for a second?
Oh,
Please.
for a second? That's it?
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
Donnie.
I feel like
Be
I feel like I've been very positive and cordial, but I want to be a dick for a second, okay?
You have it. You have it.
So for all the annoying little marks out there that act like know-it-alls, these bitches that have never spent 30 seconds behind the curtain in the professional wrestling business, that don't have a clue how shit's supposed to work. Oh, they're botching. And you don't have a clue what goes into actually executing one of those moves, and how difficult it is, and how the timing when it has to be perfect, and they nail it almost perfect, and then I saw space, he botched it, she sucks. You're so annoying. You should just go away. And to all these annoying little punks who I've been telling for the last 3 months, Rock's gonna turn on Roman. Rock's gonna turn. And I said, okay, maybe one day. Not at WrestleMania. Yes, he is. You watch. And then that annoying little jack off Blaine going on and on and on tonight. Oh, you just watch. Rock is going to send all the bloodline in to attack Roman, and he's going to take. I'm like, nope. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, it's not going to happen. You're out of your mind. You're all thinking with this myopic Vince McMahon booking of hot shot. Hunter is building novels, not one-pagers. You jabronis, you don't understand it. Oh, I know how it's going to work. No, you don't. You have no clue. And I love the fact, guys, that when these jabronis get proven wrong and I call them out and I say, see, you were wrong, rather than go, yeah, I was wrong, I get blocked on social. You can't take the L like a man? Take the L like a man.
Listen, honestly, Donnie, you're 100% right. Listen, there was nothing crazier in Toronto Times ever than when Kawhi Leonard was going to potentially re-sign with us or go somewhere else. Everybody on social media knew exactly what he was doing. I had guys telling me that he was on private jets coming back to Toronto and he was signing with us long term. And I was like, how do you know that? Oh no, I just know that. I know that it's a fact. So that's what we do with social media and the internet, is we believe that our personal opinions are facts. And yes, it's completely fine being wrong sometimes and accepting that loss. I think that
I am wrong
as a man, it's best for us to say, listen, I fucked up. Like, I was wrong. You're right. I get it. I say it to Boris all the time. I'm like, bro, you owe me some tacos. Don't worry about it.
I'm wrong 1,000 times a day. And when I'm wrong, I own it. Okay? When I'm wrong, I own it. But like,
Donnie,
when people can't own it, come on.
To give people some context.
Come on.
I think there are some new listeners. There are people who don't know who you are. Oh my God. What have I gotten myself into?
You guys, by the way, guys, for any of our listeners, you got to check out Donnie on the Godfathers of podcasting. You'll enjoy the listen. If you're enjoying this part of the show as much as we are, you'll definitely enjoy the listen.
I appreciate the plug. Actually, you know what? If you're giving me a plug, can I just say this? This Thursday, our guest is going to be Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, It's going to be the man of 1,000 voices. He was in Space Jam. He is in what's that show? Invincibles, I think it's called.
Invincible.
He's in there.
Invincible. He's in the new X-Men 97. His name is Eric Bauza. He's a Scarborough boy. He's my homie. One of the top voiceover artists on the planet. And Eric's going to be our guest for the third time this Thursday.
Man,
That's awesome.
I've watched every episode of Invincible like at least 3 or 4 times. I think that's just such a great series, man. Honestly,
so good, so good. All right, Donnie. Well, that's Donnie in a nutshell.
Hey, Boris, what have I said to you before? The thing I love most about wrestling is what? Heat. I'm not afraid of heat. I'm not afraid of heat. And some guy,
that's where the fun is, man. Always. That's where the fun is going to be.
There was a comment that was up on the screen. Can you put it back up again? Because I want to know the guy's name that said it. It said,
which one? This one? Hold on. This one?
Yes. Denji 2006. I don't do squash matches, bro. Too easy. Fish in a barrel, bro. It's like blonde chicks at Lululemon. Too easy.
Jesus Christ.
Too easy, bro.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's the best.
I don't even know where.
Acknowledge me.
Oh,
bro,
man,
I've been doing this game since before most people watching were born.
You're the reason why I do this game.
I'm not going to be intimidated by some Muzark.
Listen, guys, Godfathers of podcasting isn't only a gimmick, it's a reality. So you guys got to check out Donnie. Got to listen to him. The guy's got a lot of great shit to say, and a lot of great hosts. Sorry, a lot of great guests all the time. So
yep,
check it out.
You might be hearing Donnie more and more. You might be seeing me and Donnie more and more together. I don't know what I signed up for. Jesus Christ.
Heat. What are you afraid of heat? Heat, Boris.
I love it.
I'm gonna teach you how to get heat.
Oh, I can get heat. Dude, I get heat for existing. No.
You're the nice guy. You're baby facing everyone. Hey, stay tranquilo, baby face. Come on. Tranquilo.
Baby face Boris over there.
Jesus Christ.
Tranquilo.
All right, Donnie.
No, bro. I'm getting violent up in here.
It is a new era.
Worst WrestleMania ever.
It is a new era of WWE. It's a new era of SNME. Let's see
Donnie
where we go with this. Donnie.
I love it. Let's
go. Donnie versus everyone. Bring it on.
Yeah. Donnie versus the world.
Thanks so much, dude.
You're the man, Donnie. Thank you for coming on. Appreciate you.
Oh shit. That's what you got. Oh yeah, I cut you off. What are you gonna
do? He said love you, so I'm down with it. I'm completely down with it, honestly.
There we go. Great times.
I get more and more. I don't know what it is. I get more and more dudes to tell me day by day how much they love me. So yeah, this is the world we live in, folks. No, honestly,
all right.
That was fucking great. Donnie's the
anyone
best
else that wants to come up? Lines are still open.
Is there? I mean, it's fucking. Oh, pardon me. It's 12:37. You're drinking tequila. What are you drinking?
The same one.
What are you drinking? Tell me the brand.
Or the
they're gonna get canceled.
Oh, you got
the coconut still?
Yeah, that's still from that night. I took it.
You took the bottle home?
Yeah, I took the bottle home.
What? Okay, for the listeners, just so you know, the last one was a Passover. Easter Friday. Good Friday. Me and Boris went out and we enjoyed a couple of bottles of tequila. I had no idea that he took the second bottle home with him, though.
No, it wasn't the full. It was like a couple shots left, not even.
This is messed up, man. Like, I don't understand what's going on at this point. But yeah, I've got some tequila from Mexico, Mexico, and it is Gran Centenario Azul Baby Mango. It is flavored with mango and chamoy, and it's delicious.
All right. I think we are cooling off on the chat. No one else wants to come up. It is Sunday evening. It's been a long few days, and I want to thank everyone who has watched, commented, jumped on. Thank you so much. It's awesome. The little family.
Hell yeah,
that we
you guys
have
are
here at
amazing.
SNME.
Honestly, this has been a fun night. I can even see Tom here saying people excited about a 2-hour wrestling stream, a 2-hour long wrestling stream. Holy shit, Boris, we made it to 2 hours here on this after party. Did you and Brad make it to 2 hours or what?
No, we only made it an hour and a half or so.
What? All right, we're going out after this.
All right, there we go. All right, thank you so much for listening. It has been an awesome night after an awesome WrestleMania. So much fun. Like I said, there's going to be tons of things happening here on Sunday night's main event. Patreon.com/SNME Radio if you want to be part of the family. And just remember, you can join in on this show. You can be part of the trivia. And at the end of the year, you're going to be getting a little something for being a patron. Really, I think people are getting more than what they're putting in. Why wouldn't you join the Patreon? It helps keeps the lights on, and you're part of the family. Also, chopped teas.
It's just a good idea, guys. It's just a good investment.
You broke me. Jesus Christ.
It's a good investment at this point.
Chop tees for your SNME merch, chop-tees.com. There's a sale until April the 9th. I'm just going to close my eyes and finish doing everything.
Treat yourself.
You can listen to all of our podcast shows.
Boris, do you have to edit this afterwards or what? Like, I hate to
no.
you, but you have to.
I literally just throw this up. I cut the beginning and that is it. I leave everything in.
Hold on. What's the song? What's the entrance song?
It's whatever that copyright free music I found.
Let's go. Copyright free since 2003.
Jesus Christ. All right, everyone. Yeah, Chop Tees for your SNME merch, chopped-tees.com. They have a sale until April the 9th. You can listen to, Eric has the Raw Show. Donnie's gone on the Godfathers of Podcasting. If you like what you heard, you can listen to all of us and all of our own shenanigans by going to your favorite podcasting app and searching for Sunday Night's Main Event. Eric, thank you so much, and a huge thank you, honestly. Huge thanks to all the hosts for all the shows that they threw up this weekend. Huge thanks to everyone who participated, who called in, who attended, and wanted to be part of the experience here on these after parties. It's always a fun time. Eric, thanks so much. Thanks to everyone listening.
What a week, everybody. Honestly, continue to love wrestling and live your lives impactfully.
And remember, stay tranquilo. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Or, as we say in Mexico, salud.